Hi, this is Peggy, and today I have Amanda Sobey with me via Facebook video. Hey Amanda, thanks for joining me today.
Hi Peggy, how are you?
Good. So the reason I asked you to come on is because you also have secondary lymphedema like me. I have secondary lymphedema in my left leg. You have it in your right leg. How long have you had lymphedema?
17 years now.
17 years now. All right. So the amazing part of your story and what I want you to talk to us about is you have turned into a bodybuilder.
I have.
So that's amazing because I know for me, exercising is a challenge. Like I actually hurt myself exercising, and my lymphedema actually moved to my abdomen. And because I did this 30-day ab challenge because I don't know boundaries and I overdid it. And anyway, it was probably already there. It just kind of, flared up more there. Anyway, so I want you to tell us how you got your swelling under control, how you started bodybuilding, what challenges you've seen, and how you've overcome them.
Okay. That's
right? I know.
Okay, so as you know, I have secondary lymphedema in my right leg. It occurred pretty much out of nowhere. Two things kind of happened in order for me to get the condition. One was either through a traumatic event that I experienced, and the second was it could have possibly been the parasite that we know as filariasis. Eventually I went for testing and they found out that it was lymphedema, and as everybody knows, they say that there's no cure and you're just supposed to wear stockings and go for massages, and that's all that you're supposed to do.
Right.
So I was devastated for probably 15 years out of the 17 that I've had this condition. You know, we get so hopeless where we try everything. We do our own research at home because we understand that the doctors don't really know much information. And plus two, before Facebook groups weren't really a thing, so a lot of us ended up just coping home alone and not really knowing where to turn. And I didn't find my first lymphedema person until actually I had overcome my condition, really. So that's the background. Starting as to how I started training was I got very, very sick in 2016 where I was unable to work anymore. I actually was bedridden for about a month solid. I couldn't walk. It was absolutely horrible. My health had just completely threw up all over me, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I basically had to start back at square one again. And in the time that I was lying in my bed, I spent a lot of time thinking of what could I do. And I started off with the things that I knew. So I knew that lymphedema required manual lymph drainage massage. I knew that lymphedema required a good intake of just water intake. You know, we can't not drink. We cannot drink a ton of caffeine, sugary beverages, looking at the food. And then the other thing that I recognize is that the lymphatic system really doesn't have a pump, so the only way to move it is by exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think everybody has gone into the gym and ran as hard as they could to see that has to be the solution, and I always found that I ended up swelling afterwards. And the more rigorous the exercise, the more that my body ended up rebelling because of that. In my journey of research, what I recognize is that the body's first response to anything foreign in our bodies is actually inflammation. So understanding that the body really starts to flood our bodies with more water or more fluid, that is the reason why I feel most people swell. And especially when it comes to exercise, because it understands that there's trauma in that area and it's trying to work and flush it out. Unfortunately, our lymph nodes and everything aren't uptaking
Exactly.
what's in there. And the protein chains are so condensed and so fibrotic at that point in time, nothing really passes. So knowing this information, I started exercising very slowly. I started off just by sitting on the bike, on a recumbent bike, for 45 minutes a day. I would do 2 days on to 1 day off, and that was my cycle. So 2 days of work to 1 day of rest, because part of this condition takes the yin and the yang. Every time that you do an action, you have to kind of step back and let your body heal in that process. After about 4 or 5 months of just solidly just doing bicycling, my body started to change into morph, and I started to push myself a little bit more based on standing and cycling, working my legs a little bit more rigorously, changing the bike settings. So instead of just being at a random manual setting, I ended up going to a interval challenging setting to really start to work the muscles to start contracting my lymphatic system. During that time, about, like I said, 5 or 6 months now, I was looking at other people around in the gym saying, geez, this is starting to get a little boring. Maybe I should just try to switch it up and just try, training with weights. I think because I did such a slow and gradual entry with just working my legs and getting them conditioned, getting them to move for the, 6 months really, it helped condition my body so that when I started to adapt myself into weight training and bodybuilding, my body was a little bit more athletic at that point in time, where I was able to do just a little bit more. Even still, knowing that it wasn't like I could go on a leg press machine and just pack on a ton of weight and do a ton of weightlifting exercises, I still had to start with a very slow and gradual, methodical approach. And I do train much differently than most people, and I'm very excited. I've turned into a certified personal trainer now, and I'm starting to help educate and teach and coach other people, not only who have lymphedema, but just in general, just working their bodies, training themselves accordingly, because understanding what I've gone through on a personal level and knowing how our bodies react with lymphedema, we just can't train like that 30-day HIIT program that most people are used to.
Right. So did you find that when you first started doing this, that you swelled, or did you start slow enough that you didn't see a lot of resistance?
I think because I started so low and so slow that even though that if I did swell, it wasn't completely debilitating. When I did try to go like a full out rigorous exercise, that was when I would have a lot of swelling and a lot of, oh geez, that was a really bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. So don't get me wrong, yes, I did play in amongst the low and slow, but like I said, the more that I recognized it was more rigorous, I would always have the negative counter effect of swelling afterwards. So, yes. So
what did you do when you would swell? Would you take a day off? Now, do you wear compression garments?
All the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
So when you work out, you're wearing your compression garment?
I am wearing my garments all the time. I'll wear them as much as I need possible, obviously. And I do wear them while working out. Do you sleep in a night garment as well? You sleep with compression? So you keep compression out. Okay. So that's important for people to know because if you try to work out and you're not wearing compression, that, lymphedema your lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. So when you're exercising, that is your pump, but without the compression, so that compression helps that resistance. So that's good to know. So I know for me, I think when I heard your story, I was like, wait a minute, this is like literally, I have been so frustrated because I used to love to work out. I used to power walk. I'm going to date myself here. I used to Taibo, okay? But yeah. You have to remember, I've had lymphedema for 20 years, so, I haven't really, I haven't really worked out since, the lymphedema started. I've tried a couple of times, and like I said, I tried because I'm like, let's go. I just don't have that. So that's good to hear, like, really start slow, like sit on the bike with no resistance and just move, right? Just moving. That's the thing, because I think everyone and all the doctors, they tell us to keep moving. And it's so funny because, when I was first diagnosed, I was like, that's it, I'm going to the gym and I'm running every single day. And it didn't work. And then, of course, I started seeing other people who are doing the exact same thing because we're all desperate.
Right.
And it does start to move slowly. Like, it's not an intense workout, really. It's just, if it's going outside and looking at the trees while moving your legs, if it's going to the pool and doing some cycling, even if you're sitting at home, just flexing and pointing your toes or just doing that pumping action, really, those are the baby steps and the foundational key elements that really help to get you to better recovery. So, and I think it's important for people to recognize that it isn't a Taibo workout. It isn't a full throttle, like how much weight can you lift. It just starts off that is the simplest and smallest version of exercise as physically possible, and that's where it starts.
And I think for people like me and probably like you, starting slow is hard because you want to like, let's go, let's go. I want the answer today. Tomorrow I want the swelling to be done and I want to have all the energy in the world. And it's hard. And, that's, it was 8 years ago when my health threw up on me and I was like, this is it. And, that's what made me figure out, okay, two choices here. Either I'm going to figure this out or I'm going to die. Like, that was it,
Oh,
and
I had the same thought.
yeah, it's like, okay, this is like, it's time to figure it out. So I'm big, big, big on food because I believe that what you put in your body, I mean, if you put toxic things in your body that's, processed, and you are going to you're putting a strain on your lymphatic system. So I'm just going to throw this out here. I am not a big believer in sugary drinks like Gatorade and things like that. I am a huge believer in water, specifically high alkaline water. I see for me it makes a huge, huge difference. So when you are working out, even if it's walking to the post office or walking to the mailbox or walking to the coffee shop across the street, whatever it is, drink water. Drink lots of water. And the other thing that I found is staying away from processed foods is a miracle. Like, that is a main thing. So what else do you want to share that you think will encourage people to move? Because for me, I'm kind of shy. I'm scared at this point because I've hurt myself a couple of times. So working out scares me. Going to the gym horrifies me because I'm like, okay, I'm at a controllable point right now. I don't want to do something that's going to cause a flare up, and you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
It's scary. It's scary.
So I think the first piece of advice, if I was going to put a plan to this and help people, is ultimately step one, listen to your body. You're a lot smarter than what we give ourselves credit for. So understanding that your body really, if you're in tune with yourself and if you're self-aware, your body really is going to tell you what it needs, essentially, and what the operating parameters are in it. So learn about who you are, listen to you, love you, all about you. So that's step number one. Step number two would be, obviously, there's no beverages that are really good for us besides like tea. I know I posted up on my YouTube page my lemon ginger detox tea, which is fantastic. It's a great way to start cleansing out your body. Obviously, water, things that are low in caffeine. Obviously, eliminate all alcohol, all sugary beverages. Gatorade, vitamin water is not even vitamin water.
It's sugar.
Which I wish that was my idea. No. It's against what I stand for, but it's a good concept. And
right.
Then food. Here's my belief on food. Everybody's wanting a diet or a fad or a lifestyle. You'll hear a lot of things about being vegan or paleo or ketogenic, and I have taken actually bits and pieces of all of those lifestyles, and I've taken my knowledge and my beliefs and I've applied it to me. So I look at my body as a big human blender. Whatever I shove into my body and you mix it all up in this chemical experiment, it's going to exhibit whatever is in that blender. And my body is going to use those macronutrients in order to do its daily function. I am a big believer on veggies and plant-based. I think we need a high increased dose of certain fats in our diet because what I think I have found, and I haven't proven this scientifically, but I believe fats actually break down protein chains. Protein chains can't break down in water. It doesn't work. So if we have healthier fats in our diet, that's a huge benefit.
Nuts, avocados, olive oil, those are all really good fats.
Hemp oil, and seeds. I love my seeds. So I know ketogenic, there's so many people who are doing weight loss with keto, and I think that there's a market and for certain extreme health considerations that works incredibly well. However, I just think I have a different approach that's a little bit more sustainable because I couldn't do that diet very well, nor same with the paleo diet. It wasn't accessible and affordable for me. So again, watching what you eat, so no sugars, very little carbs. I have all my green leafy vegetables with, a good portion of oils, my healthy protein sources, which are chicken and beef and fish. Organ meat is always really good. I know people are probably turning up their nose right now. Sardines, I love my sardines. As gross as that is, my papa would be so proud of me. And it's just a matter of watching what I eat and putting it into my body, because if I'm putting lots of starches and sugars into my body, they cause inflammation. It's been studied worldwide. So if you eliminate those triggers for foods, you're going to just be that much better off at overcoming this. And then lastly, sorry to cut you off.
Nope. I was just going to add. I'll add at the end. Keep going.
Lastly, with the exercise, again, it's low and slow. I'm a big believer. I've always had a personal affinity for being active, and I don't care what my version of active looks like. It needs to be your version of active. It needs to be something that you enjoy. It has to be something that you love to do, that you can force yourself and get, whether it be putting on your running shoes and going for a walk, whether it be going to the pool and swimming, whether it be taking dance classes, whether it be something that just keeps you moving. That has to be your thing, because I can say, I was on the bike for 6 months straight, but if you hate the bike, there's no way you're getting on that bike. So you need to figure out what is best for you.
Exactly. So I really agree with being intuitive, knowing your body, greens, lots of greens. As anybody that's followed me, I eat raw vegan because that works for me. And I never tell anybody you should eat raw vegan. I say you should know your body, because I tried the keto, the Dr. Atkins thing, all those things back in the day. And that, my body isn't able to break that protein down. So it didn't work for me. But I learned my body. I kept a notebook for a long time of what I would eat. And then I would be like, I feel bad, or I feel good, or, so you get to know your body. You get to know your body, and you get to know, what's going on. And it's very important to be intuitive. Like, trust yourself. I'm a headshot photographer, and people always say, what should I wear? And I always say, wear what you like, because you know you better than you think. And it's the same with your food. Eat what you feel like. Be honest, though. Don't say, well, I feel good when I eat chocolate ice cream, because, that's not what I mean. So be honest with yourself, what foods are working for you, and make a plan that you can stick to. For me, the reason I like raw vegan is because I can eat tons of raw vegan chocolate, and I can eat, tons of sweets, and I'm not cheating, and I'm still getting my, my vitamins and my minerals and my fats and, all the things that I need. And for me, it's easier than I don't feel like I'm taking anything away from myself, because I still get all my treats. But you have to find what works for you, and drink lots of water, period. Drink lots of water.
You have to find out what's right for you. I think every lifestyle fits a certain, and it's really, I'm a believer that person has to figure that out for themselves,
Exactly.
Right? Based on their affordability, can they afford this lifestyle, and also can they keep it consistent? Because really, it's not about this is the best plan for you. Is, can you keep it consistent? Are you able to stay on track with exercising, 4 times out of the week? Can you honor that commitment? Can you honor yourself that you're not going to go out and eat fast food and have a cheat day? Can you actually stick to this as a way of life, not only feeding yourself, but also your family too, right? Like, I've been a single parent since my kids have been born, so all of my food choices, I cooked all homemade meals ever since that they've been born. I've always cooked for myself, but I've had to make it sustainable. I had to make it so that, when I'm busy working full time and the kids are going to hockey, I'm able to still put dinner on the table where I can nourish my body and not feel like, this is a punishment, I have to make it work for me. And so you're right. I actually started off with doing vegan. That's how I kind of started to recognize how important food was in my diet. But then I think, like I said, through just transitioning, and because of my weight training, I needed a little bit more satiety for just building muscle and just to keep me from being fatigued all the time. So I had to make the switch. But again, like I said, I think it's important that people understand that there's multiple different options for your food and intake. I do have my foods to avoid list, which
and you can Google that. You can Google what foods are known to be, cause inflammation,
Yeah.
and then foods that are known to help inflammation. And
Right.
so, and then find out of those lists what works for you and what doesn't. Because even though it may be a inflammation food, it may not agree with you. So, but that gives you a good start.
For sure, and like I guess for all of the support groups that I've been involved, like for people who are diabetic, that's going to look differently. Also, people who retain water naturally, when we say drink tons and tons of water, that might not be the best advice, because if they naturally are holding water and they're on Lasix, for example, there's other medical illnesses and conditions
Right.
that seek further practitioner counseling. So I would be an advocate for people who are listening to this cast to really identify to what their health concerns are. And just because we are talking about what has worked for us, like I said, go back to number one, which is trust yourself, know what your medical history is, pick up on the certain tips that have seemed to universally work for the collaborative of all these people who are going through lymphedema, but also pick and choose which is the right level for you.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I know we've been talking on Facebook for a while trying to get this nailed down, and I appreciate you, because yesterday I was like, oh my God, it's almost the end of 2018, and you're like, tomorrow. I was like, let's do it. So thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.
Present, right? So.
Yes, exactly. Let's do it. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And do you have anything you want to say before we go? Can they follow you on social media? Can my viewers follow you and stalk you and ask you questions? Again, neither one of us are doctors. We're telling you what worked for us. We are not giving medical advice here.
Yes, most definitely. There's a disclaimer. Yeah, please do so. I have my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/am.sobey, and that's S as in Sam, O-B as in Bob, E-Y, and then on Insta, I am at am.sobey as well. I have a website that I'm bringing on board probably March of 2019. I also have all of my exercise plans and videos that I'm going to be releasing and sharing with the public, as well as my recipes. So that's all to come for 2019. I don't have definitive dates on that, but if people are wanting more information or asking any personal questions, I'm doing reviews on medical garments as well to help people fact find and find the perfect fit, because even though we know that sometimes our practitioners aren't overly educated in the lymphatic world, there's a lot of garment fitters that are completely not equipped and are knowledgeable. So my goal is to educate people as much as possible, give them the tools that they need to know so that they avoid the struggles that I've had, or I guess we've had for the past 17, 20 years. And just kind of sew up this community a bit and empower people to just be more knowledgeable so they can just take care of themselves. Like, I guess I could have, looking back, if I knew what I knew then, I would have avoided 15 years of hardship, right?
Exactly.
So that's my passion, and I'm happy to help. So yes, please do reach out.
Yay, thank you. And I'm sure I will be following you, and I'm excited. And if we follow you on social media, you'll be letting us know when your website releases and all that. So we'll just stalk you. And we appreciate you, and have happy holidays.
Yes, happy holidays to you and everybody. Take care. Try not to gorge too much on food. I know it's so hard not to treat ourselves, but you are what you eat, and just becoming a little bit more mindful of the choices that we make really help take care of this condition and make our days a little bit easier. So,
well, I appreciate you, and we will see you soon.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the new year.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
What an awesome interview, right? So she said so many things that were so, so important. Please, please, please remember, be intuitive to your body. Don't do things that are going to hurt you, but don't lay around, because laying around also hurts you. For me right now, 2019, I am going to start moving more. For the past several years, I lay on my Chi machine, which does move my lymphatic system, and it does give me some cardio. But I am making a commitment to try this and make myself start slow. So I will keep you posted on that. And again, just so thankful to see people not letting lymphedema take control of them, but taking control of your lymphedema. So it's always exciting when I see other people that have figured out their own bodies and figured out ways to make their bodies work to the best of their ability and get their lives back. So go out there, get your life back, have fun, smile, know that you're not alone, and I'll see you soon.